When choosing a camping site for winter camping, you want to choose a spot that has a fair bit of shelter to protect you from the wind. You want to make sure that there aren't any trees that'll land on you if the wind is about to blow. You want to find a good spot where there's an abundant amount of snow that you can pile up to make your snow hut, and a good supply of firewood. I think I have found that, and I'm quite happy with this spot. So I'm going to get started building my campsite. Now, I'd love to build you an igloo, but we have entirely the wrong kind of snow here. For igloo snow, you need really wind-blown, hard-packed snow that you can cut with a knife and pick up, almost like a chunk of styrofoam. The snow that we have here can probably best be described as dry snow. When I pick it up, it just sort of crumbles. It doesn't want to seem to stick together. That's fine. We can still build a snow hut out of snow like that. If you live in a place where you tend to get wetter snow, that's great. It makes building a snow hut really easy because the snow adheres to itself. Well, easy in that sense. Not so easy in the sense that you have to lift a bunch of heavy snow. When you're building a snow hut, you can use your snow shovels. You can use whatever you have at hand to scoop. What I like to use is a good shovel with a nice scooped bit like this. And that picks up the snow just fine for me. So I'm going to work on my pile for a little bit, and then I'll show you one of the essential tips that you'll need to make sure that your snow hut is good and strong. Make sure that your snow house is several feet larger than you think it needs to be. Remember that when you're lying down, you take up a lot more space than it looks like from when you're standing up. So I'm going to make sure that I have a lot more snow piled on here before I do anything else. Of course, you want to take your time and do it right. When you're dealing with grainy snow like this, and even when you're dealing with the wetter snow that packs easily, you want to make sure that your structure is strong. One of the great properties of snow is that if you give it a chance, it'll set and become a lot more solid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my snowshoe, although I could just as easily do this with my shovel or my hands, and I'm going to start packing the snow as I start putting more and more snow on top. And this will form a solid base for my walls. Don't skip this step. The last thing you want is for your snow hut to fall on you. It's very important that you take the time to do it properly. I've been throwing snow on and packing my snow hut, and it's about the size and shape that I want. Probably should have it a little bigger, so I might work on it a little bit more. But right now I'm allowing the main part of it to set. And what I'm going to do, while I give it about an hour or so to set, I'm going to go off and collect some firewood for my evening cooking fire. Well, it still gets dark pretty quickly here. We're not too far past the winter solstice, and I wasn't able to show you hollowing out the inside, but I'll tell you how I did it. Once I had my pile of snow made and had allowed it to set, I picked the spot on the lowest point. You can see that you may be able to see here that I'm built onto a bit of a slope. I took the lowest point and I started hollowing out the entrance to my snow cave. And I started digging into here and pushing the snow out as I went. I don't know how much you can see in here. One of the steps that I took was that I punched some holes into the side of my snow cave, about a foot in depth, all around the snow cave. Those holes serve a dual purpose. the first purpose is, once I am inside the snow cave here, the first purpose is once I reach those holes, I know that I need to stop digging. The second purpose is they allow some ventilation inside the snow cave so that some of the moisture that builds up in here is allowed to go outside. And not that you can necessarily see it, although you can see some of the light starting to show from outside. This is the interior of the snow cave. The reason why you dig in at the lowest point, other than making it easier to push out the snow, is when you're sleeping inside the snow cave, it lets some of the colder air drain out of the snow cave, trapping the warmer air inside. Well, we spent a glorious night inside the snow cave, and now there's just one more thing we need to do before we head off up the mountain where I'm going today. We need to destroy it, and the reason why you don't leave a snow hut standing is because you never know when somebody else will be coming along, and it may drift over and people aren't aware that it is there, and they may end up putting a leg through it and breaking it, and that's the last thing you want to do to somebody. So let the wrecking begin. That's how you build a snow shelter. It's not necessarily the fastest or easiest way to build a winter shelter. It wouldn't be my choice for an emergency shelter in the wintertime, but in terms of comfort on a cold night, it's a pretty darn good option. Happy camping.